Welcome to Strip Talking, a podcast from stripwalking.com.
I don't understand this Whopper situation.
I did not eat tuna in college, despite my best efforts.
A branch of the Branch Davidians, David Cornish.
It's what brings fun to Vegas, math.
Usually that's one of the things that really comes naturally to you is insulting me.
All right, Jeff, you're the podcast expert.
Spider pig.
Nobody's going to care. Mom's not going to care. She's glad I'm hydrating.
Don't put words in his mouth. Put monster burgers in his mouth.
We can still be friends.
I don't think so.
I don't know that I'll respect you as much.
I don't know that we can respect him at all.
Take your ketchup meat back.
In this episode, the results of Mike vs. Jay's No Eat Challenge, Mike's trip to Orlando, John Daly and Paige Spiranac on YouTube, surviving in Vegas for a night with no room and just $20, and the guys discuss what they would choose for a Make-A-Wish.
Here are your hosts, and maybe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Strip Talking Podcast, brought to you by stripwalking.com. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am Jay. As you know, I have Jeff with a G here tonight. Jeff, how are you doing?
Oh, Jay, you know, if I was any better, I would be Mike.
Speaking of Mike, also here with us tonight. Mike, how are you?
I am celebrating my win in the No Eat Challenge.
Ah, yes. That's great. Nobody asked me how I was doing, but that's fine. Frequent listeners of the podcast will know that Mike and I started a little challenge to see who could go without eating the longest. I am here to be the first to admit I lost. I lost earlier today. Didn't even make it a full 2 days, which is pretty embarrassing. Mike has reigned victorious.
See, and I consider you the winner then, technically, because you didn't starve yourself for no reason.
That's true. Now, I will say, I don't want to make excuses. I'm not here to make excuses. I am fresh off a colonoscopy, so that kind of messed up my system, you know.
That's totally an
I
excuse.
feel if I could prep next time rather than prepping for a colonoscopy, maybe the outcome would be different. So
Seems like you did prep.
I say, yeah, very different kind of prep.
I feel like I could have went at least another day. I felt great. I went out and mowed the lawn tonight.
See, that's where I went wrong. I didn't keep myself busy. You got to keep yourself busy. Lots of water. Keep yourself busy. Sleep as much as possible because you can't eat while you're sleeping. You don't get hungry while you're asleep. That's the keys. So I see a round 2 of this competition coming soon. Maybe not real soon, but
No.
I'll send you a ribbon or a trophy or something, Mike.
We'll put some sort of award on the website for me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, make it up yourself. I will. Feel free to put a participation ribbon on my face somehow.
And Jeff gets nothing?
I was the one that started this whole thing, if I recall.
It's true. True.
But you did not condone it.
I did not condone it, but I went 4 days, motherfuckers.
Are you saying you should be declared the winner?
No, I'm just saying. I just had to toss that out there. I don't condone it. Mine was not voluntary, but it was what it was. So we're gonna go from there.
It was a double colonoscopy.
It was like a double colonoscopy. Is right. Might as well have been.
I would like to put a few more rules in next time.
Like what?
I think we should allow black coffee. It's 0 calories.
Pretty much willing to allow any beverage.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. We'll get it in writing next time. But long story short, Mike has reigned victorious, and I'm not proud of it.
Congrats, Mike. Good job.
I did lose a few pounds.
I lost a bunch during my colonoscopy.
How was the colonoscopy?
You know, not as bad as I figured. I did lose 8 pounds. That's a little TMI, but
I've had 1 or 2 also, and they're really not that bad.
It's the prep. The prep is the worst part.
yeah.
So Jeff, and you could probably tell us a lot about the prep. The first one I had was probably almost 15 or 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the prep was so miserable. I had to drink so much nasty liquid.
Yep.
Like every half hour or something, you had to drink a full.
Every 10 to 15 minutes, you had to drink an 8-ounce glass of that stuff. And
Yes.
It's salty and you set that timer and you're just counting down. You're like,
I just wanted to be shot after about the third one. I didn't.
you didn't want to drink anymore. You didn't want to. And then, of course, nothing happens for the first 45 minutes to an hour. So then it tastes like shit. And then you're bloated.
So then something does happen, and you still got to drink.
I know. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But now none of that. Now it's just what, a couple pills, Jay?
It's like 4 pills and then Marilax, like over the counter. It's all over the counter stuff. Nothing, all pretty gentle. And yeah, it's honestly just a few hours in the late evening that are the worst of it. And yeah, I'm passionate about colorectal health, of course. So I would recommend all of our listeners to get this screening done for the good of your future. But yeah, it's really not as bad as it used to be, and not as bad as I expected. But anyway, enough about my colon. Mike, fresh off an Orlando trip.
Yes, I just got back from Universal Orlando and put the finishing touches on our strip walking map for Universal Orlando.
Nice.
Visit stripwalking.com to view it.
Yeah, it was a good trip. There were some interesting things that happened. Let's see. I made a little list here for us. Southwest has a new snack, Stellar Mini-Pretzel Braids, Maui Monk flavor, and they are fantastic.
What would you classify Maui Monk in the flavor department? Cheese-based?
Sweet.
Okay.
Does Maui have monks? Might be offensive to them if Maui has
I
monks.
don't know that they do. Maybe.
Not if you're calling them sweet.
Why would it be Maui Monk then if Maui doesn't have monks?
I'm Googling it. Oh, I found pictures of them here.
I have tried to purchase them already.
You can order them on Amazon.
No, you can't. Not the Maui Monk.
I'm sending you the link right now.
Bullshit. They're in stock. You're telling me they're in stock and you can order them.
Currently unavailable, yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
See, once they got inundated with Southwest orders,
ran them out.
Nobody else is getting them.
Maui Monk. Loaded with the savory taste of Maui onion and finished with a hint of sweetness. These vegan pretzel braids satisfy crunchy cravings with their irresistible flavor. That's vague yet enticing at the same time.
They're just sweet pretzels.
But crunchy.
Pretty much.
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They almost have a little bit of a hint of trail mix flavor.
And this was Southwest.
Yeah, because Southwest used to give out the little trail mix packets.
Yes.
So I think this was replacing those.
Interesting.
They still had the little cookie things too.
I do like the cookie things.
Yeah, they're good too. But my family was fighting over these pretzel things.
Interesting. That's more than I've come to expect from Southwest.
I was really surprised, yeah. And it must satisfy the allergy people. That's why it's vegan or something. I don't know. Because the peanuts went away on Southwest because of the allergy people.
Sure. I think saying allergy people might be racist.
Well, offensive.
Yeah.
I don't think allergy people are a race. Anyway, back to my trip. So we got there. Another little interesting thing that I did. So Universal has, I believe, 3 Hard Rock, Portofino, and Royal Pacific. 3 hotels where if you stay at them, you automatically get the express passes included with your stay, which is a huge perk. And those can cost $130 to $200 a person per day.
Jeepers.
Wow.
So, but since we're pass holders, I wanted to pay cash, or I had to pay cash to get the pass holder rate. I couldn't use my Chase points and book through the Chase portal. So I wanted to book cheap and wanted to book one of the lower end hotels. We stayed at a hotel called Aventura, which was a nice hotel too, but it doesn't have the express passes. But what I did was using my points, booked, they call it a ghost room, and it's a pretty common thing that happens at Universal. A room just for the express passes at the cheapest of the 3 resorts. When you do that, you get the express pass for your check-in day, your checkout day, and all the days in between. And you get it for up to 6 people. can be on the reservation.
Wow.
And so even if it's, they're probably usually $400 to $600 a night. 4 people times $200 times 2 days. That's still a lot cheaper than just outright paying for express passes.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to book the days that you're traveling, the travel days either. So I ended up booking 2 nights at the Royal Pacific that nobody stayed in the room. Nobody even went into the room the whole time. It was a ghost room.
That's awesome.
But those express passes are totally worth it in my mind. You can go on the Universal groups and forums and find people saying, nah, you don't need them. You don't need them. But in my mind, you can't. I would not want to survive without them. You just do so much. You do some waiting even with them, but you would do so much waiting in line without them.
Yeah, and you've went all that way to wait in line kind of sucks, right? So maximizing the time there seems worth it to me too.
There is one ride you can't use it on, and it's one of the better roller coasters in the park. And that's almost always a minimum of 50 minutes to an hour wait. And that is a long time to stand in line. And we always have to ride it once or twice. But man, that is a long time to stand in line. I can't imagine doing that several times a day on different rides.
You'd only get to ride like 3 or 4 things. That's all you could do.
Right. That's one of the things I kind of chuckle about on some of those posts that say we didn't need it. They're like, yeah, we didn't need it at all. We rode every ride. And I'm like, you rode every ride once? Wow. We rode all the good rides and we rode them like 4 or 5 times. My youngest, we were excited, or I was excited, because she had gone to Worlds of Fun and rode all the big roller coasters there. So she was going to try Velocicoaster and the big roller coasters at Universal. Apparently they're on another level because she was not a fan of any of them.
A little too much, you think, or?
Velocicoaster is pretty intense. She said it's rough, though. I think it's one of the smoothest coasters I've ever been on, but she'll come around. She gets a little older, a little bigger, I think.
It's a coming of age thing.
That was also where I get irritated. The people that think it's okay to go up with their friends who are way up in front of them in line to join them pisses me off a little bit. But so you go through metal detectors on these things, right? I got stopped. I got a new belt between this time and last time. Every metal detector, every time I got on a roller coaster, every time I went through TSA, I had to get hand wanded because my belt set it off.
And not in a good way.
Oh, and going into the park, the metal detectors too. Yeah, not in a good way, no.
Right.
It's not that bad, but it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's not like it stopped you from winning an Olympic medal or anything. Anyway, go ahead.
It's not about the size of your belt buckle, Jeff.
In that case, it would be.
It really is only, like 1 inch by 2 inches of metal, though. It's not like a giant cowboy belt buckle or anything. Not going to the rodeo. But so we went through the metal detector. My daughter is halfway up the line waiting for me to get wanded. And she graciously lets these other people go by since she's waiting for me. So they go by and then they proceed to let her pull up all of their people that were back getting wanded behind me.
Gotcha.
So that was my old man. I didn't say anything, but I gave them a very mean look.
Yeah, that's enough right there. That'll do it.
Kind of a funny story after that. So it was an older guy who was in front of us and a younger girl. I don't know if it was a sugar daddy situation or if it was his daughter. I'm leaning towards daughter, but it could have went either way. That was the park was closed by the time we got off the ride, and walking out, we were behind them and we passed them because they were walking slowly. I couldn't quite hear for sure, but I think the dad or the older guy said something about they were behind us on the ride, and she said something about that guy looked pissed. I swear that it sounded like she said.
That kind of makes it worth it.
Yeah. She knew.
She knew.
She knew.
That's what matters.
Yeah. Got the filming done that I needed to get done.
Yeah, for stripwalking.com.
Had a kind of a super scary situation. I'm pretty sure it was a pickpocket or a purse thief of some sort. So you take a bus from our non express pass resort. You take a bus. From the fancy ones, you can take a water taxi. But you take a bus to City Walk, which is the central area where between the two parks. You go up these escalators, and then there's this huge area where you go through all the metal detectors before you can go in. As we're getting off the bus, I see this guy in front of us quite a ways going up the escalators with a white garbage sack, by himself. I don't think a lot about it at the time, but it is kind of weird when you think about it now.
Yeah.
And it's even weirder after I get to the end of my story. So we get up, we go up the escalators, and I'm always the one that has to lead. And so I'm always looking back to make sure my girls are still behind me, caught up. And I look back, and this guy is right in the middle of us, like he's one of our family members. He's behind my daughter. And I immediately stop, and I look at him, I go, what the fuck? And I don't think my girls even now picked up on what was happening. I'm sure he was looking. We didn't have anything in our back pockets, and my daughter was wearing a over-the-shoulder like fanny pack thing, but it was in front of her, so it would have been pretty bold for him to try and rip that off her. But I'm sure he was trying to find something to take, because when I stopped and looked at him, I gave him the same stare I gave that line jumper.
Nice.
He immediately, so there was this old methed up looking woman to our right, and he went over to her, grabbed her arm, and then they skedaddled off down the other side of the exit, basically.
Interesting.
She was definitely his accomplice.
Good instincts, Mike. Good instincts.
Pretty ballsy of him to do it right by security, but then again, security's not really paying attention to outside of the security. They're paying attention to people coming through.
They have enough to worry about up there.
As I was thinking about it later too, he's outside security, outside the checkpoint, so lucky he didn't have a weapon on him or something too.
True.
Good point, because that's just the public out there, right?
Yep.
High traffic area, I'm sure.
When I saw him with his trash bag, he definitely had some shit in there. So is that his haul?
I don't know what else it'd be, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really know either.
So he must not be snatching purses. He must be picking pockets, right? Because how do you snatch purses and throw them in a garbage bag and then come back through again without being?
I mean, I doubt he was picking up litter or anything, right?
No.
I don't know that I've ever been that close that I've noticed to that situation.
I don't think I probably have either. I try, and normally I carry a wallet in my back pocket because I'm an old school Gen Xer. But when I go to places like that, I do have like a magnetic thing that hooks onto my phone. So I try and just take the essentials out of my wallet and use that. So it's in my front pocket, which I had in that situation. The girls don't carry anything in their back pockets, but
If you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail.
it's a good tip. Like Vegas, don't carry stuff in your back pockets.
No.
I'm a Gen Xer wallet guy as well.
Yeah.
Only on the right side, which is not the Crip side, right? Snoop Dogg?
For shizzle.
It's very, very uncomfortable to sit on, as fat as it is.
Yeah. Until the end of the Vegas trip.
We didn't do real good on the food. We didn't have too much real interesting. We didn't make it to the Hot Dog Hall of Fame again. We did go to a place called Big Fire, which is a steakhouse. But the highlight, at least for the girls, was the dessert. You can do tableside s'more toasting. So we had to do that. It's about what you'd expect. We went back to Mythos, the place in the park. Had the grilled cheese sandwich in they call it tomato soup, but it's basically a marinara sauce. It's thicker than tomato soup to me. That's pretty good.
Do they have an Earl of Sandwich?
They don't. It's really an oversight because I know Disney has one.
Yeah.
It's actually the first time I ever had Earl of Sandwich was Disney Springs.
Definitely an oversight.
Both times I've been going to do the mini golf, and I actually thought about they have a pop stroke. They have a pop stroke in Orlando too. So I almost thought about Ubering over there and trying to play that. Uber would have been like $50, and then another $50 a person to play it.
And you probably didn't pack your clubs.
Yeah, that too. Good call. Then coming back, I kind of turned into a Karen again. Had some people trying to kind of cut the line getting off the plane.
No offense to our listeners named Karen.
Yes. Karen with an A, not an E. But they were, the people that don't want to wait for their row to get off the plane. They immediately dash down the aisle to try and get to the front when the plane stops.
So dumb. So dumb.
So they made it up to my row, basically. And I got up and blocked them. And then I proceeded to kind of shove back on them a little bit to push them back. And I kind of exaggerated my movements as I took out my suitcases and stuff from the overhead. And then at one point I even turned around to it's a younger couple. And I said, "Excuse you."
You said, "Excuse you"?
I told her, "Excuse you." There was a lady one row behind us and across that also said, she's like, "You guys are sitting back there. Why don't you go stand by there and so people can get their luggage up here?" They didn't move.
So it's an obvious etiquette thing, but what if they were trying to make a connection and they were late? What if they missed their next flight because of you?
They came off the plane right behind us, so I know they didn't. But
Good point.
From an etiquette standpoint, Jay, obviously I'm not as seasoned of a traveler as probably you, and or obviously not as seasoned as Mike, but I would think that if you were late for a connection, that would be something you would vocalize. I would, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm not even sure. I think that's just your shit out of luck.
Part of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the risk and the shittiness of air travel, yeah. Good point.
And I don't know.
Because even if you vocalize it, you get a few rows to let you by.
Right.
What does that save you?
Right.
19 seconds?
True.
I mean, realistically, you have the assholes that are going to say that and they don't. So how do you really know? Just like the freaking wheelchair army at Southwest
Right.
Wheelchair Army.
Right.
I've never been in that situation where it's that tight. I think I would just still stay in my spot and just get off and hope I made it. Get off in my normal, when my rows.
Sure.
The other thing that drives me nuts is the baggage. Normally, I like to not have a check bag, but this situation required one with the whole family. Your whole family standing right up by the baggage carousel, just lining the whole fucking thing. So I can't get at my bag when I go by.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
One person, you don't have to stand right up there until your bag's there. I know. Well, did you guys hear about, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, the lady that died in our baggage carousel? It may or may not have been a suicide.
Gotcha.
But this had happened like a week ago when we were getting off the plane. So these two ladies were sitting on one that wasn't moving, and it started moving, and they got up and started laughing.
Idiots.
I'm sure only I am bothered by that, but I couldn't help but think, somebody just died a week ago. You stupid idiot.
I don't understand. There's just a severe lack of any sort of common sense with the general public, it seems like, and especially in that type of a situation.
And no, they're probably not going to die on it, but probably shouldn't sit on it just to be safe.
There's nothing good that can come of it.
And yes, I believe they determined that the woman that died was trying to commit suicide, although why would you pick that as the way to commit suicide?
That's an odd selection. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many options.
There's a lot of options, a lot of better options. I can't think of one reason why you'd pick that option. I mean, her death probably involved some sort of head squeezing.
I would think so, yeah. And you're just messing it up for other travelers at that point. Because then there's a cleanup, there's a crime scene.
What if your bag's the next bag on the line? Then your bag's going to be in therapy for years. But good trip. We're going to make, my plan is to make 2 more before our pass expires. I think I mentioned that on the last episode. And the map is done. Looks pretty good.
Good work, sir. Good work, Michael.
Yeah, again, for all of our listeners, if you go to stripwalking.com, you can walk the paths in Orlando.
Yep. The direct link is universalorlando.stripwalking.com if you want to go direct to the map. But you can just go to Strip Walking and scroll down to the locations and click Universal Orlando.
If only there was a website you could do that in Las Vegas.
Oh, wait. It's the same website.
I don't know. You guys listen to the 360 Vegas podcast, but they were talking the one day about Karen and Mark and then Brian and Tanya that we met in Vegas for Vegas vacation, as well as Mike and Lene. They were going to the Hilton or to the Garden Arena at MGM Grand, and they're like, I'm not even sure if I know how to get there. And I was sitting there thinking, my goodness, if only there was a website that we could show you exactly how to get there.
Yes, and only if Jeff only knew how to post links on Twitter.
True. I don't. I always get chewed out by somebody because I don't know how to do it. I get told if I don't know how to do it correctly to not do it at all.
There's nothing worse than a post that just has an image that's not clickable.
It's fair.
And 360 Vegas, by the time this will already have happened by the time this podcast gets released, but tomorrow is their 500th
500 episode. Congratulations to Karen and to Mark.
Wow.
And to Tony and everybody involved, Josh and everybody that's involved in that podcast. That's pretty amazing. You know, you think about doing that every week for 500 episodes. That's nuts.
Well, I'm glad you had a good trip. Did a little filming for stripwalking.com.
I should mention, since my last recap, Universal Orlando, I kind of mentioned that my girls were awful. They weren't that awful this time. So good on them.
Nice. Good. That is very good. Maturity.
No meltdowns. Not like last time.
Except for you had the meltdowns.
I was the Karen.
You were the Karen. That's right. With an A.
With an A, yes. We love Karen with an E.
We do love Karen with an E.
Oh, we did eat at the Aventura. It's like a circular tower building. I think it's probably 15, 16 stories. It's one of the taller buildings in the area. And they have a bar and grill up the top. We ate there.
Was it good food?
It was decent. Had a burger, as we've discussed.
Good. Very good.
Pretty cool view. And our room, you guys will appreciate this. Our room was like right over top of the pool. The rooms were pretty cool. I don't remember if I posted a picture of the room on Twitter or not. So our room, which was the deluxe room, which we paid a few more bucks for, it had a curve to the window, and they were floor-to-ceiling windows. So that was kind of cool. But then it was right over the pool, too.
Were there any balconies?
There was not any balconies. There was, and I didn't realize until after we ate, there were some other areas you kind of go to and just sit. You didn't have to just go up there to the bar and grill when you went to the roof. You could just kind of go hang out.
Interesting.
I imagine that some people have made that an achievement, if that's where you're going with that. And I think it is.
I don't know what you're insinuating. I just thought if there was a balcony, you'd be able to see the pool better.
I had a great view of the pool, is what I'm trying to tell you.
You didn't look.
I am looking directly down on the pool. I think you probably can figure out what I'm getting at here.
I think we probably can.
Straight down. I could have dove into it.
Why didn't you? That'd been awesome for the show.
Actually, I think my youngest daughter made some sort of comment about that. Just busting through the window and diving into it.
Out into the pool.
Yeah. Side point, completely unrelated. I saw Vital Vegas posted a video today that they're actually tearing down the volcano right now.
I saw it. I saw that. Said something along the lines of tearing what's left of the structure of the volcano that did not bring the casino one dime of profit or something like that. I don't know. I was sad at first and I am sad from the nostalgia point of view, but you know what? Vegas is Vegas. It's always going to change. And honestly, I'm excited to see that big guitar-shaped tower. That's going to be amazing.
I am exactly of the same mindset, but there was something about the volcano getting torn out that I was like, wow.
And I get that. I understand that, but I almost have more, I don't want to say nostalgia or felt worse or feel the loss of the pirate show at Treasure Island more than the volcano. The first time I went to Vegas, that pirate show was one of the most awesome things I'd ever seen. The volcano was cool too, but it wasn't on the same level as the pirate show. And I think that ever since Treasure Island did away with that, I think that they've just kind of lost their way when it comes to why do you go to Treasure Island?
Yeah, Treasure Island.
TI. I mean,
It's all your fault. Shouldn't have got rid of the pirate show.
I'm just saying, if I had to choose between one of those two to come back, I'd take the pirate show every day.
And Excalibur is shitty because it got rid of the Merlin show with the dragon. And Luxor is shitty because it dimmed the light out at the top.
You know, and they got rid of that. I didn't realize that when that thing opened up, that it had a barge type thing on the Nile that took you to your room. That was pretty wild. Did you?
What?
Yeah, there was like a river.
that.
There was like a river that ran through the Luxor, and when you checked in,
A river ran through it?
yeah, there was like a river, and you could get on a barge, and it would take you to your room, but it was inefficient, and people didn't want to wait.
That's fucking awesome.
I know it's awesome, but they got rid of it. So anyway.
I saw just a random thing popping up on a website. Worst tourist traps, or something like that. And one of the top ones was the Venetian Canals. That's probably accurate. But I still love it for the just being there when you're walking around.
Oh yeah, the canals are awesome.
Like it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
It's way overpriced and shitty to ride in, although I think you got to do it once.
Yeah.
But it's very on theme.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we were talking, you had sent out a note to us earlier today, Mike, did you want to talk about your idea concerning you show up in Vegas the day before everybody else, and what do you do?
So that one I got from the Las Vegas Locally Twitter account.
Oh, okay.
So we'll shamelessly steal that. But in fairness, he was just shamelessly stealing it from some Reddit user who he screenshotted it from. But yeah, the Reddit post said, I got last in my fantasy football league. So the rule is the guy who gets last has to show up for the draft in Vegas the next year, a day before everybody else, can't book a room, and I can only have $20. So what do you do?
Which I gotta say, that's awesome.
It is.
It is.
We've all heard the stories about, the one league that you have to get the tattoo and just crazy stuff, but that one's real good.
That is good.
Real good.
And he was asking, what can I do? Can I get some free play somewhere? Or where can I get just cheap food? That kind of stuff. But I was thinking just in general, how would you play that? How would you guys play that? Or what? I don't think I would try and sleep. I think I'd just try and do it.
No. I wouldn't sleep either. Although, no, I don't think I'd sleep either. I think you got to allot, $6 of that to making sure you have some water to get you through the day, because you're not going to have a whole lot for food. You're gonna find the Walgreens or the CVS or whatever it is, and get some chips or something like that to get you through, because you ain't gonna get.
Jay and I can go almost 48 hours.
But here's
it's not a problem.
Okay.
And you can get free water if you look like you're gambling.
True.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, you can get water.
Yeah.
Maybe, little bottles at a time, but it can be done.
What if you just tell your story to somebody and get them to help you out? Like buy you something?
I think what you should do, or when we try this, that's the time that I'm going to show up, and I
like where your head's at, Jeff.
And I'm going to start, since I'll be the one to lose because I'm not very good at fantasy football. I'll get there and
I thought we were just going to do it next time we go.
we could do that too. But that would be the time that that would be when I would be walking from the Strat to downtown and back and filming that. So it could take me some time.
So here's a question. Do you have to use the $20 to get from the airport? Because that's going to...
Good point. So I could start my filming right from there, because we always said we were going to walk from the airport to the Strip.
I don't think that can count, because
It can't count.
it's going to take more than $20 to get from the airport.
Unless they expect you to walk it, yeah.
Or you got to walk it.
I like it.
We'd have to clarify that rule.
So I think your biggest thing you have to fight is boredom. Because unless you put that money in a slot or something and hit a jackpot or a big win, what are you going to do? No?
I appreciate all you guys' thoughts, but they're all wrong. You take your $20, and Mike, you headed down this road, but then stopped. You take your $20 to CVS, Walgreens, whatever. You buy yourself a marker and poster board, and you write out your story. I lost my fantasy football league. I'm taking donations, and you plop your ass on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And you charity that crap at least for 5-6 hours, right? Enough to where you have a little bankroll, maybe go hit a table, try to double it up or something.
Bonus points though, Jay, if you can get the showgirls on the Strip to actually pay you money. And take a picture with you.
That's an achievement.
That could be part of the thing. You have to get the showgirls to take a picture with you and give you money.
Or maybe you just offer to take pictures with anybody like the showgirls do.
Sure.
You might get,
arrested.
You get some of those. Well, you get some of them pissed at you, like you get on their turf. They might.
Yeah, true.
You might get shanked.
That's why you have the little whiteboard to explain your story.
Yeah. Just walk around holding it up with a bucket or whatever, with a cup.
Do you think you'd get much money?
I bet you'd get something. I bet you could get some things.
I bet you would too. It's a pretty good story.
I bet you could get some money.
But how do they know? Like we talked about with the connecting flight.
You don't. You don't.
How do you know?
No.
You don't. But
think.
Okay, Mike. Think back when we were at Vegas vacation. We're walking from the Flamingo over to Paris, and we're drunk off our asses. If we'd have seen somebody with a sign like that, I'd have fucking given them money. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. I kind of think I'm leaning towards what Jay said. I think you try and parlay that misfortune into some bankroll, and then you take that shit and you try and do something.
Where do you go?
Where do you go?
I think you go any place that has a welcoming sports betting area. So
Circa
places that would have big sports betting. Those are your customers.
Yeah.
In this situation,
They're not going to let you sit inside the sports book with a sign.
I don't have to sit inside.
But you need the foot traffic that is used to sports.
Because they can empathize with you.
Like Caesars has a big sports book.
Yeah, Caesars has a good one. Great one, actually.
Jeff loves Caesars.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but you know what? I'll give it a shot. I did more stuff in Caesars the last time I was there than I've ever done in Caesars, so it was all right.
So what if you can't panhandle? Then what do you do?
No. Then you do what I said. You ration water, cheap food from Walgreens and CVS,
and just wait it out.
Just wait it out.
I glanced at the comments. I think there was within the first few something about trying to convince a hooker.
Just to pass the time, right? I don't know about that.
How much hooker does $20 buy?
Not enough. You get what you pay for in that industry.
So you ration, huh? You don't go for the big win? You don't go to the Dragon Link?
You don't even take $10 and try to double it up?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be fine with that.
Isn't there public water fountains or something somewhere?
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a public water fountain in Vegas.
Or just like free water, like at a front desk or
Unless
something?
you count the fountains at Bellagio as free water.
Hey, you do what you got to do. Well, so what if you did something to get like thrown in a holding cell or something in the Bellagio? Or would that be so bad?
No.
Would they feed you?
Potentially.
I don't know what the rules are there.
So jump in the Bellagio fountains, go for a swim. Then what happens?
Yeah, it's iffy. It's
It's a good story. You might miss your draft though.
Good chance. Good chance.
Maybe that's part of the beauty of it, is you can't do something that will cause you to miss your draft.
Yeah.
Makes it even tougher.
I think you could panhandle enough to get a little bit of game and money.
So there's no panhandling though.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a rule you established there.
I said that's just like a what if? What if you can't do that?
Totally. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. It would be pretty fun.
I do applaud the originality of that football league for coming up with that rule.
For me, it's the $20 that's the limiting factor there, obviously. The no room, the no sleep, who cares? That's easy.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
But the money part, you gotta figure out some way to change that.
So I had a buddy that always used to, I don't know if he actually did it. He always used to say we should. So one of our local towns has direct flights to Vegas, but they're only Thursday and Sunday, I believe. And he always used to say you should get on the flight on Thursday and come back Sunday, but you don't book a room. But I don't think he said anything like you couldn't bring money. You just couldn't take any luggage.
I wouldn't like that. Ugh, I have to shower.
That's a little too long for
Then
me.
you'd have to sleep in the casino. They probably kick you out for doing that, don't they?
Potentially.
You could maybe catch a little nap, but they're gonna find you. That's too long. I could go one day,
How many
but
days can you go without sleep?
I've done 72 hours, and that was too much. That was the end of it. I couldn't do it after that.
I'll be lucky to make it to the end of this podcast, to be honest.
And that's like in 5 minutes.
We've got 10. We've still got to cover Bryson, DeChambeau, and John Daly.
Okay.
Did you guys watch that?
I watched some of that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch the whole thing with Paige Spiranac.
Oh, I'm sure you did, Jeff. I knew you were going to watch that one.
I also watched he does one with Donald Trump too.
Yeah, I watched some of that one.
Yeah.
Well, so I started with the John Daly one. I went to the Trump one, and then about 10 minutes into probably 5 minutes into the Trump one, I saw the Paige Spiranac one on the side.
And you quickly changed that?
Going to that one.
Although I will say, all of them are pretty damn good golfers.
So while we're talking about this past weekend, I stumbled on Bryson DeChambeau's, I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Professional PGA, or is he? I think he's live tour golfer now. Has a very popular YouTube channel, well over 1 million subscribers. I just wasn't aware of it, and it's pretty good channel.
It's called Breaking 50.
Well, that's not the channel, but that's because there is a whole bunch of other stuff. Like there's one episode where he plays with $100 Walmart starter club set. And he's still, the clubs are way too short, but he still hits the ball like 270 with the little tiny driver. It's crazy.
Guy's insane. He's hitting the 6-iron 240 yards.
Yeah. And the other thing, so the first one I watched, it's hilarious. The one where he plays with John Daly. And the deal is they try and break 50, but they do it from the red tees, or basically the women's tees, the shortest tees.
And it's 50 on 18 holes.
Yeah,
to be
50
specific.
on 18 holes.
Not break 50 like we try to on 9.
Yeah. So they have to birdie every hole and eagle about five
holes. Yeah.
Well, it depends on the par. It's par 71, but they haven't done it yet that I've seen.
Well, they haven't broken 50, but he and Trump and I can't remember.
Oh, spoiler.
They shot 50.
Did he shoot 50 with Paige?
No, they shot a 52, I think, with Paige. But like I was saying, I tell you what, those people can golf. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. They can golf.
Paige was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
she has even flat out said that she was probably physically good enough. She was probably good enough of a golfer to play on the LPGA tour, but she didn't like the mental strain of and I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's a grind.
Oh, I thought it was because she had back problems.
Well, she might have that too, but that hasn't stopped her from flaunting those assets, which is fine. Don't have a problem with that. But she can drive the ball. I tell you what, she can hit the ball a long ways.
I've known for many years that Jeff has a soft spot for her.
I don't know if it's many years. It might be, I don't know,
Yes,
a year or
it's
so.
many years.
And I don't know that it's soft either.
I don't know. We're getting older, Jay.
Jay was telling me about somebody I hadn't heard of. There's the new Paige Spiranac is who?
Grace Cherish, I think that's how you say her last name. Charis, maybe. Grace Charis.
She's a good golfer.
I do not know.
Doesn't really even matter. Doesn't even matter.
Anyway, getting back to the John Daly one. He's barefoot. He's smoking a cigar.
Smoking a cig. Yeah.
Big old beer gut. Santa Claus beer. It's just awesome.
He's putting with one hand.
Yes.
Yep. and just nailing them.
Early on, he's like calling Bryson son.
Yeah.
Like he's his son. Yeah. And I'm like, what the? Is this really his son? I had to Google it. No. So why the hell is he calling him his son?
Because John Daly can do whatever he wants.
It makes no sense though. And he's got this crazy golf cart. Was it a Cowboys?
Yeah. Yep. Cowboys. It's got like a beer cooler in the front. Yeah.
And halfway through it, they're drinking these big old glasses of chocolate milk.
Yeah. Actually, I think of the three that I've watched episodes of the Breaking 50, that was the one where they shot the worst score.
Yeah.
But I don't think it mattered. They weren't.
John Daly didn't give a fuck.
No, he was there for the fun of it.
What is weird though is, in my mind, somebody who remembers John Daly when he came out of nowhere and won that PGA championship in 91?
Yeah, probably.
And he was just, at the time, everyone was just amazed at how far he could hit the ball. And his swing was, he took the club back so far. Bryson was just blasting it way past.
Oh yeah, like
he didn't even need to be there as far as driving the ball.
It was 91 when he won the PGA.
It's just amazing. I suppose it's a combination of technology and strength training and stuff over the years, and technique. How much better they've gotten at hitting the ball long.
Yeah,
definitely go watch that video. Check out that YouTube channel. I saw there's some more Paige Spiranac videos too, like she caddies for him and he caddies for her, and there's a ton of different stuff on there. But the Break 51s are the ones that I like too. It makes me want to play golf, watching people, good golf players. Yeah. And of course, I'll go out there and after 2 holes, not want to play golf anymore because I suck. But I just love watching, and the sound, it makes. Paige even mentioned that on it. Like it's just
John Daly did.
It's a different sound when a pro does it than anything you've ever heard.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And they have the ball tracking too. I wish I could have the ball tracking when I played.
Yeah.
Just when you're out by yourself. Yeah. That would help a lot.
It would make it a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good find, and it's funny that you found that and sent that to us because I had just seen the first episode of it too, and very fun to watch. I enjoy watching it.
I'm convinced that, especially because we're kind of connected because we both have access to the Strip Walking account, I'm convinced that YouTube will show videos to people
Yeah, very well.
Just because you probably have things in common.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Probably because you found that's why YouTube showed it to me or put it up on my home feed.
Well, let's move on to our most famous section, newly titled Points to Ponder. Let me give you all a Points to Ponder question tonight. If you were offered let's call it a Make-A-Wish wish.
If you were dying.
Well, I don't know that we have to sadden the podcast like that. Just all right. Okay,
say your colonoscopy didn't go so well.
Which I'm happy to say mine did. But you're dying, you get to make a wish. What are you picking? Jeffrey.
Wow, that's tough. No, there's no limit on this, right?
No limit.
Wait, no limit whatsoever?
I don't think so. I've never been offered a real Make-A-Wish, but I think they do their best for whatever's requested, right?
Huh.
They probably don't offer it to many adult males.
No,
probably not. Okay, so since might as well continue along the theme we were just talking about. If I get to choose, I am going to
Jeff. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Why not? It's Make-A-Wish.
You can go there.
It's Make-A-Wish. I am going to probably Hawaii, and Paige Spiranac is my special guest. And we are going golfing on one of those fantastic golf courses in Hawaii. I cannot think of the one.
Yeah, it's in Maui. I've wanted to play it when I've been there, but I don't have anybody to go.
Yeah,
with.
I don't know what the name of the course.
Kapalua.
There we go, Kapalua.
Plantation
course at Kapalua. There we go. So I'm Paige and I are going to go to the plantation course at Kapalua, and we're going to play there. And then you never know what might happen. I mean, well, I do. I mean, I know what but it's not.
You specify the itinerary, don't you?
The Make-A-Wish probably ends at the end of the golf game.
I think the Make-A-Wish program ends after this wish.
All right, Mike, what's yours?
Besides boating, Paige Spiranac?
I was just golfing with her.
Well, I'm going to keep it PG. See, I think the golfing thing, if it's not Paige Spiranac, you could say you want to go play one of those courses, but it's not going to be that fun because you're going to suck. And it's just you're going to shoot like 160.
Yeah, lose a lot of balls.
A lot of balls.
Not the way Jeff wants to.
That's fair.
He's not going to lose the balls. Well,
you don't know.
You never know.
Bury him.
You never know.
Go to Jay and come back to me.
Okay, Jay.
Mine's very similar to Jeff's, although, and I kind of thought he was going to steal my answer, but after watching that John Daly video, I would totally go golfing with John Daly.
I thought about saying that.
So, that would be so fun. just for the experience. I do suck at golf, and he would make fun of me, and that'd make it better.
So why not do both? Golf with Paige and John Daly and Bryson. Be on his YouTube video. Maybe not when you're boating Paige, but
yeah, it's a different website, but it's no, it's the John Daly I'm there for.
There you go. I like it.
It's the John Daly. I've been a long time fan.
Have you?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, definitely.
I'd go to Perkins with Tiger Woods.
Okay. This is totally off topic, but did you see that the kid at the Little League World Series, where they always put like their favorite athlete, whatever, he put his favorite actress was Alexis Texas, and nobody got it.
That is awesome.
That's funny. Anyway,
well done, kid.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Man, I should have, since I thought of the question, I should have thought of the answer, shouldn't I have?
It's true. You've had plenty of time.
Yeah, I've been to Hawaii. I don't know.
Go to space.
With Paige Spiranac.
Go to Macau and play and gamble at one of them casinos there, high limit shit.
Ooh, maybe I could do some sort of AV geek thing, like fly a jet.
Why not? Sure, make a wish.
That seems kind of lame, though.
It got lame when you said I could do one of those AV things.
Audio-visual things.
That's a good question. I like that question, Jay. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you enjoy your podcast, consider subscribing and give us a lots of stars rating. You can find us on all major social media outlets at Stripwalking, and of course by visiting us at stripwalking.com, where you can see Mike's newest work of stripwalking videos from Orlando. Thank you all again for listening. May all your sevens show on the come out roll. Oh, a 2x4 is worse with cheese.